On November 16, 1974, humanity used a massive radio telescope in Puerto Rico to send an optimistic hello to the cosmos. The target was the Great Hercules Cluster, a densely packed region containing roughly 300,000 ancient stars. The message consisted of 1,679 binary digits, a prime number chosen so an intelligent recipient could arrange them into a pictorial representation of human math, our DNA, and our address in the solar system. This wasn't a call for an immediate conversation. The stars are too far away for that. It was a demonstration of technological maturity, proving we had finally gained the ability to speak to the rest of the universe. Fast forward to 2018, when a team of students called the Boricun Voyagers won a global challenge to modernize that 1970s greeting. Their new message was vastly more detailed, incorporating advanced physical constants and more precise astronomical data. But the signal was never sent. On December 1, 2020, the Arecibo telescope collapsed. The massive receiver platform snapped from its supports and crashed through the dish below, ending the facility's mission before the Boricun Voyagers could transmit their work. The updated signal was immediately retitled The Last Arecibo Message. This physical failure raised a chilling prospect. Interstellar communication depends on fragile hardware that can be destroyed in seconds, leaving us to wonder what our actual final broadcast might be if we were to suddenly disappear. With the universe remaining silent and our own telescopes proving vulnerable, humanity has turned to fiction to process the anxiety of being left alone in the void. This cultural dread is the central focus of the 2026 indie game, The Last Message from Earth. You play as an astronaut alone on a spacecraft, managing a failing oxygen supply, while receiving a series of urgent transmissions from home. The horror lies in the fact that the messages contradict each other. By making the player unable to verify if their home world even exists anymore, the game subverts the traditional first contact story. The threat isn't an alien invader, but the inability to trust a signal from your own home. This reflects a very specific modern fear, that our final transmission to the stars won't be a heroic legacy, but a confusing, isolated scream into the static. Literature takes this trope even further, imagining scenarios where the final message is an intentional act of withdrawal. In Mike Lightheart's flash fiction, alien explorers find an Earth that hasn't sent a signal in over 200,000 years. They discover that humanity intentionally went dark to quarantine the planet from the rest of the galaxy. In contrast, Sequoia Nagamatsu's novel, How High We Go in the Dark, envisions a final broadcast sent in the year 7037. This message serves as a final goodbye. It's sent as the last humans leave their home planet to live on a Dyson sphere around the sun, permanently abandoning the cradle of their species. Whether it's a quarantine notice or a goodbye, these stories treat our final cosmic communication as a mark of tragedy or abandonment. While our stories dwell on the dread of the final message, the scientific community is focused on a different reality, preparing for the moment a signal actually comes back. In June 2026, the International Academy of Astronautics overhauled its post-detection protocols, establishing new, rigorous verification pathways for potential alien signals. These updated rules address modern threats like AI deepfakes, viral misinformation, and the risk of online harassment against the scientists involved. The most significant rule remains the no-reply consensus. It mandates that no scientist can transmit an answer to an extraterrestrial source without broad international agreement, managed through the United Nations. Despite these detailed rules for radio signals, we still have no coordinated diplomatic framework for what happens if an alien probe or spacecraft actually arrives on Earth. So, would we panic? Does the dread we see in our fiction match how we would actually behave in the face of contact? Data from linguistic and psychological studies suggest the answer is no. While our movies and books assume mass panic, empirical research indicates the public's actual reaction would likely be overwhelmingly positive and curious. There is a clear tension here. Our stories reveal an obsession with isolation and tragedy, but our behavior shows something else. Between the unsent message at Arecibo and the rigid bureaucracy of our new protocols, we see a species that fears the dark void, yet refuses to stop organizing its world to meet it.